everyone, welcome to another Procreate tutorial. This is the animation that we will be creating in today's video. It is the second part of the tutorial. The first part is where we drew this design in Procreate. So if you haven't done that and you would like to go back to that video, I have it linked in the description below so you can draw this entire design there first, and then we will export it and get it into Procreate Dreams to animate it like this. If you are only interested in doing the animation, that's totally fine too. I have linked my file for you to download so that you can import it into Procreate Dreams to use these exact same layers so that we can still do the animation together. So if you are new here, I mainly post Procreate tutorials and now Procreate Dreams tutorials, so if that is something you're interested in, go ahead and subscribe. I also offer extra tutorials over on Patreon. I have that linked in the description below if you'd like to check that out. But before we get started, the only thing that you will need to do is download the file that I have linked in the description below. It's totally free to download, and that is, again, only if you are only doing the animation and you did not also draw this in Procreate or want to draw this in Procreate. So that's linked in the description below. It's totally free to download. Just download the file on your iPad, save it to your files somewhere so that you can access it in the first part of the video. If you drew this in Procreate, just make sure to watch the first part of the video. That is where we will make a few small adjustments to the drawing that we made and then export it for Procreate Dreams. And then after that, we will go ahead and just open up our new stage in Procreate Dreams. We'll adjust the settings and I'll show you how to import the file, whether you downloaded it from me or downloaded it from your own Procreate drawing. Okay, so first things first, we're here in Procreate on our original drawing, and there's just a few changes that we need to make in order to import this into Dreams. So the first thing we're going to do is make our background color its own layer. So let's open up our layer menu, add a new layer, drag it to the bottom, grab our background color, otherwise it's the first color on the first row of the color palette, and drag and drop it. Nothing about your drawing will change, but now we have a square layer with our background color on it so that when we import it into Dreams, that is already set. Let's see, and then lastly, we are just going to add a new marshmallow that we can use in our drawing. So I have these three on the ground here, but they're all kind of like warped into the ground, and I just want one solid marshmallow that's like the right shape, has all the shadows and stuff. So let's just add a new layer at the very top of our layer menu below our line still. So right below our line there, let's grab our first marshmallow color, the first one on the last row, grab our monoline brush under the calligraphy tab at like 50%, and I'm just going to draw it in the air over here. So I'm just going to draw a nice good marshmallow, so a kind of rounded rectangle. Try to kind of keep it a similar size as our other ones, so I might make it a little bit bigger. You know, it doesn't have to be too perfect, just want a nice solid shape, so something like that I'll start with. I can still resize it in a bit. Okay, then on our layer menu, click on this layer and turn on Alpha Lock. Grab our second color on the last row of the color palette, and we will just make like the little, rounded top area again to make it look a little more 3D. Okay, then we need the shadow on it, so we'll grab our fifth color on the last row of the color palette, same layer with Alpha Lock turned on. We'll switch to our soft brush under the airbrushing category. I'll have the opacity set to 50 and the size set to like 2 to 3%, pretty low, and I'm just going to make a little shadow along the bottom, very lightly, nothing too crazy, just to give it some more dimension. Then we'll go to our layer menu, we'll add a new layer on top of this one, click on it, set it to a clipping mask, click the N, and set it to soft light. Grab our next color in line, the sixth one on the last row, switch back to our burnt tree brush under the charcoals category, set to like 5% is good, and I will just go all over this to add a little bit of texture, like so. So then that is our single marshmallow. If you need to resize it or anything, let's first snap it together. So snap our clipping mask to it. So we just have one layer with our marshmallow. And you can grab it with your arrow tool. You can resize it on freeform or uniform, whatever you need to do. Just kind of, roughly the same size as our other ones. And I'm just going to leave it floating in the air over here. Okay, so now these are the layers that we should have. So in order to not mess up our drawing, I'm not going to delete this layer in Procreate with our marshmallows on it. or the one with our steam on it, but I will delete those in Dreams when we import them. So we want our background color layer, our greenery layer, our white berries layer, our steam, our candy cane, our 2 separate little green sprigs, our marshmallow in the cup, our cup itself, our marshmallows, our single marshmallow, and our black line. So those are all the layers that we should have. Once that's all set, go ahead and click the gear icon, click share, and click Procreate. So we want to download this as a Procreate file, export it, save it to your files, anywhere you want. You can name it. I'm going to name it hot cocoa animation, or I'll just do hot cocoa. And save it. Okay, then we're going to switch into Dreams. And now we have Dreams open. We are going to go ahead and add a new dream and open up a new stage. So we'll click our plus icon. We'll switch to square. Click empty. Okay, now we have our brand new file ready to go. We just need to make a few adjustments to it. So click on this Dream 6 button. Under properties, we're going to leave frames per second at 24. Set duration to 10. Set the width and height each to 3000, which matches the drawing files that we have. So 3000 there, 3000 there. Okay, under timeline, let's set it to loop. So it's not going to be a perfectly looping drawing like our last moon one was if you did that, where it, starts at the same point that it ends. It's not going to be like that, but this is just helpful for when we go to view it. It'll just continue to loop itself so we don't have to restart it each time. So let's see, I think that's it. Let's go ahead and click done. And now we are ready to go. So now we have this. Let's go ahead and add a file. Find the Procreate file where you downloaded it. So mine saved to iCloud and click open. Okay, it will import this drawing. It should fit the screen entirely, but if you need to adjust it, now is the time to do so. With one of these corners, you can adjust the size if you need to make it fit your canvas, but it should because we reset the size. Let's go ahead and just expand our timeline here so we can see our 10 seconds better. So 3 fingers across the screen. And then this is our drawing. So now it's all on one layer, but if we just hold on this and click convert layers to tracks, click this arrow to open up our group, and now we have all of our different layers. So we have like our line, our marshmallow, our other marshmallows, our cup, all on separate layers, just like we want them so that we can animate them. Last one being our background color layer. Okay, I'm going to go up. I'm going to delete the steam layer. So that's layer 10 here. Hold on it and click delete contact. Hold on it and click delete track. We're just kind of cleaning things up. Okay, this layer, layer 6 with all of our marshmallows on the ground here, the 3 marshmallows. Click on that and click delete content. Click on it again and click delete track. Okay, so then this is what we should be left with. So we have our line, our marshmallow, our cup, our marshmallows, our 2 sprigs, our candy cane, our white berries, and our greenery, and our background layer. Okay, now we're just going to turn everything off, and one by one, we're going to animate them the way that we want to. So I am going to start with my black line, so I'm going to turn everything off under that. So I'm just going to uncheck the rest of them, except for my background layer, that can stay. Okay, so now we are on layer 1 here with our black line. Okay, and our black line is going to expand out from the middle and stretch out to be the length that it is now. So on our track here, I'm going to set the playhead to the beginning, click the movie button, click move to add an action, and we're going to click move and scale. It automatically sets a playhead at the beginning there. Click on it, and we are going to set our X scale to 0. So just tap on it and click 0, and then if you tap away, now it's gone. Then we're going to go to about 3 seconds, tap to create another keyframe there, so it'll highlight. I'm going to tap away from it so that I can tap into it, and then set our scale X to 1 again. Go back to the beginning and click play, and now we'll see it expand. Okay, and the reason that we set X to 0 and left Y at 1 is because if we had Y also at 0, it would start skinnier. Also, like the Y, like the verticalness of it would start at 0, which would be really, really skinny, and then it would kind of grow. And I don't want it to grow, I just want it to kind of roll out from the center. So that's why we did X at 0, Y at 1 still, and then X at 1 at the end. If you hold on this move and scale area, you can click set all easings, and I am going to set it to ease in. So then if we start it over, it starts slow and ends up going really fast towards the end. And then at 3 seconds, it's full size and it stays there until the end of our animation. Okay, that's it for our line. So next up is our coffee cup. That is going to be a pretty big one that we do. So let's find that. It's layer 3 for me. Go ahead and turn that on. So we are going to have this fall from the top of the screen. It might bounce around a little at the bottom and then settle onto our line. So let's go ahead and click on this layer, set our playhead to the beginning, click the movie button, move, and scale. At 3 seconds, I'm going to have it end up exactly where it is right now. So at 3 seconds, I'm going to tap to create a keyframe there. I'm going to tap back to my beginning one, and now we're going to adjust where this starts. So with this beginning one selected, I'm just going to tap on my mug, move it to the top of the screen, trying to keep it pretty in line, but if it's not perfect, that's okay. It'll end up where it ends up. So if we just start it here, let's go ahead and click play, and now it just kind of falls into the screen onto our line. That looks fun. Let's go ahead and make it a little bit different though. Okay, we're going to hold on this move and scale, click set all easings, and we're going to set it to ease in, which it might be set to already, but I don't know. I always have to set them, otherwise I don't know for sure, but yeah. Start slow, gets faster. Okay, so I'm just going to expand this out quite a bit more so we can see more of it. And yeah, right at 3 seconds here, it's on our table. I'm going to click at about 3.5 and set it to there, and then click to add another keyframe, which is in this exact same position. So at 3.5 seconds, it will end up on the table. In between that, we're going to have it wobble a little bit. So at 3 seconds here, let's tap into that keyframe. I am going to just tap away from that thing that popped up, tap on my mug. Click the 3 dots and click Edit Anchor. And I am going to set the anchor, drag it down to this bottom left corner. Then I'm going to click Done. I'm going to tap on one of my corners, and then it brings up this little rotate bar that you can see. And I'm going to rotate it up a little bit. So maybe like this. Now if we go and we play it again from the beginning, we see it kind of rotates down and hits that corner, and then it falls down onto our table. However, I don't just want it to fall so quickly like that. I want it to kind of bounce back around one more time. Okay, so right in between them here, I'm going to stop there. I'm going to tap to create another keyframe. And now I want it to hit the other corner, but we can't edit our anchor because our anchor is in place. So I'm just going to move this around to where it needs to be. So I'm going to tap one corner, rotate it until the other one's up a little bit. So like this, so it's down, but then we'll just move it up onto our line so that that corner is now hitting it. And I did a very, very slight angle. So let's go to the beginning, play that again. So now it hits one, hits the other, and then kind of falls. Okay. The only thing is I want this in between, so all the easings now are set to ease in, so it slows down, and so it starts slow and then speeds up at the end. And that looks great for our beginning part here until we hit the line for the first time. But in between that, it looks weird for it to boom, boom so quickly. Towards the end, we want them to be more linear. So if we hold on the move and scale and click expand move and scale, what we're doing here is setting the rotation. So right here, if we zoom in pretty far, expand pretty far, if we hold in between 2 of these little rotate buttons, so this is our bottom little line here is our rotation. If we hold in between the first 2 and click set easing to linear, hold in between the second 2, set easing to linear. So just the set easing, not set all easings. So then if you hold on this first one and you click set easing, you can see it's set to ease in still. It says that there. So we'll leave that as set as ease in. Hold on this area and click collapse, move, and scale. Let's go stretch back so we can see the beginning. Play. And it hits one corner and then just kind of bounces back to the beginning. So that is how it should look. So just make sure that everything looks the way that you want it to. Make sure we're not dipping below the line at all. You just need to click on each one of these to move them. So if any of these are like dipping below the line, like if this one was like down here, just click on it and adjust it to where you want it to be, and then redo it and it will reset itself there. So that is how we want our mug to look. And now we can move on. So next up, let's go ahead and do our marshmallow top. So what do I do here? Okay, so our marshmallow, let's go ahead and turn on that layer. So mine's layer 5 right underneath my mug. And right now it's just on the whole time. Obviously we can't have that. Let's start at the very beginning. Click the movie button, move and scale. So at the beginning here, we want it to, first of all, start lower. So I'm going to, at the beginning where our first keyframe is set, I'm going to tap on my marshmallows and drag them down a little bit just so that they can grow from within the mug. So just a little bit down here. So now if you kind of go down our timeline, you know, they're just kind of right there, which is in the middle of my mug. And that's fine because we're going to change them to be invisible essentially. So, but we want to place them there first. Okay. Now we want to tap back on our beginning one again and set our scale to 0 for both X and Y. At about 3.5 seconds where our mug is in frame, we want them to stay in that same exact spot at 0 size. Because if we have them start growing like right here, you'll all of a sudden start seeing them pop up above our background, and we don't want that. So we want to wait until our mug comes in and settles. Tap to add a keyframe there, so 3.5 seconds. And now it's in the same exact spot that it was. And now it can start growing because our mug is in front of it and will hide, you know, what's happening behind it. So down at about 7 seconds is when I want it to come into frame. So at 7 seconds here, I'm going to tap to add another keyframe. I am going to click out of it, click into it, set our scale for X to 1 and Y to 1, so it's back to full size. However, it's in the middle of my mug and I don't want it there. I want it at the top. So I'm going to move it up till it fits in my mug here, just like we want it, just like our picture was. Okay, let's go ahead and play from that spot and you'll just slowly see it start to pop up at the end there. I'm going to hold on this, set all easings to linear this time. So that is what mine was originally set to, but set yours to that if you need to. So it just slowly comes in at the end at a pretty just normal speed. And as that's happening, our hot chocolate will be filling this. So then that is why our marshmallows will rise to the top. Okay, but let's just keep on going down now. So next up is our little pine things. So we will work on those next. So let's turn on our first one. It's layer 6 for me again. So I have multiple layer 6s, but that's fine. It's my top pine thingy. And we're going to do a very similar thing that we did with our mug. So let's tap at the beginning of our first pine, tap the movie button, click move and scale. Okay, at 4 seconds, I want it settled on the table here. So I'm going to tap down at 4 seconds and tap to set a keyframe there. That's where I want it to end. I'm going to zoom out on my canvas here, tap on my beginning one, drag it to the top of the screen, outside of the stage quite a ways. Here, still kind of towards the right side though. Okay, so like if we were to start it here, it'll just kind of fall in. It's set to linear, I believe, so it just kind of falls in slowly. We don't want that. Let's first hold on this move and scale, click set all easings to ease in, just like our cup is. So it starts slower and then goes faster towards the end. And then in between this, we want it to rotate a little bit. So we are going to hold on our move and scale and click expand move and scale. Okay, so right at about 3 seconds, I'm going to set a different rotation. So I'm on my rotation track here at 3 seconds, tap to add a keyframe, tap one of the corners, and I'm going to rotate it up a little bit so that the left side is lower. So my anchor is just in the middle, that's good. Okay, I'm going to hold on my rotation track and just click set all easings to linear, just in case it's set to something else, and click play. And that's all. I just kind of want it to fall nicely. So nothing too crazy for our little sprig here. I'm going to hold on this area and click collapse, move and scale. And that one is set. Okay, we'll tap to turn on our other sprig, and we'll do basically the same thing. So at the very beginning, let's go ahead and tap at the beginning, click our movie button, move, and scale. It sets one there. Let's go ahead and set the same one at 4 seconds. Tap to create a keyframe there where it will end up like so. Again, hold on this, click Set All Easings to ease in, tap on our beginning one, drag it up to the top left side of the screen outside the canvas. So if we were to play it from there, it'll just slowly fall in straight along with our cup and our other one. We want it to rotate a little bit in between as well. So let's hold on the move and scale and click expand, move and scale. Again, at maybe like 3 seconds, let's go ahead and add another rotation on our rotation track. And this time, let's go ahead and tap a corner and we'll maybe have it rotate the other way and see how that looks. So I'm tilting it again to the left. And we'll see how that looks. Or do we want it to go the other way? I think that's fine if it kind of moves in a different direction. But you can try it both ways. You can click on your rotation and instead turn the corner to be this way and see how that looks. Either way works. I might just leave mine like that. I actually think that looks better with both of like the heavier bottom pieces falling further. Hold on our rotation line and click Set All Easings to linear for our rotation. So that way they just kind of rotate gently and fall into place. Hold on this area and click Collapse, Move, and Scale, and that is it for our greenery. Let's see, our candy cane will come last, our greenery at the top will come last. So what we're going to do next is add the hot chocolate, and then we'll add the marshmallows. So the hot chocolate is going to be its own little thing that we do here. So I'm going to add it to the very bottom of my layers in my group. So right above layer 10, so I'm going to click on layer 10 at the very bottom, my background layer, click plus and click add a track. So right above that. We're still in our group here. Okay. Now at about 2 seconds, I'm going to tap there on my new track and I'm going to click the draw button. We're going to just find a nice hot cocoa color. So on our color wheel here, maybe just around this like orange and reddish area. And then somewhere towards this like right side. Might make mine a little redder. Just, yeah, somewhere right in here to get a nice kind of hot cocoa color. Then click done. Then let's grab our brush, set that to the monoline brush under the calligraphy tab, set our size at 100%. And I'm going to zoom in at the top of the screen here. I might go turn my other layers off really quick. So my sprigs and my cup at least, so they're not in the way. Make sure we're still at 2 seconds on our new track here. Up above the screen, outside of my canvas, I am going to start, I'm going to draw like a little chocolate blob here, just like a little oval. Okay, I'm going to zoom out further. Above that, I'm going to have a nice long skinny oval. So something like this. Fill that in if you can. Fill in any little gaps that there might be. Okay, so we want it nice and long to where it'll kind of fill in between the top of our cup and the top of our canvas. So nice and long. If you need to, you can go out of draw, tap on it, and then you can kind of drag it down. And so yeah, like right here is good. So like the top of my cup will be about halfway through the screen, and then it'll go off the top there. That looks good. So I'm going to undo that. So we're back at the top, go back into my draw feature. And then on top of this, we're going to have just a few more little blobs like so. So this is going to be my hot chocolate coming down. Okay. Once that's good, let's go ahead and tap out of our draw. Let's turn our sprigs back on and our mug that we turned off. Okay, so then back to our hot chocolate. So let's actually drag the beginning of it to like 2.5 seconds, somewhere in there. Okay, we're going to click the movie button, click move, move and scale. At 2.5 seconds, it's going to be at the top of our screen. At 3.5 seconds, tap in there, create another keyframe, and drag it straight down into our cup so that our hot cocoa is now pouring. Then at like 6 seconds, go down there, tap to make another keyframe. It's still going to be in the same position. At 7 seconds, it's going to be all the way in. So tap to add another keyframe there and drag it all the way down until our last little droplets have fallen into our mug. They don't have to go all the way off the bottom of the screen. We're going to cover that bottom part up, but just at least into our mug. Okay, so now let's go back to the beginning of that and see how that looks. So then our hot chocolate is pouring and then it continues through. So right about there is why we had our marshmallows set for like 7 seconds as well, is right when our hot cocoa ends, our marshmallows are at the top. Okay, hold on this move and scale and just click set all easings to linear in case it isn't already set to that. I don't think it was, so that looks good. Okay. We'll get rid of this part at the bottom in a minute, but let's continue with our hot cocoa. So next up, we're going to, in the middle here, where it's just kind of sitting here, we want that to look like there's some movement going on. So we are going to add about 3.5 seconds here. Tap on our main drawing so we get the movie button again. Click on it and click move, and then this time click warp. And then leave the horizontal and vertical at 4. And then you should have a new little line down here to add our little warp frames. So there's one at the beginning that automatically set itself. If not, make one at the beginning there at the beginning of our other move and scale. And then we have one automatically set at 3.5 seconds. Otherwise, again, add one there. So this is what we should have so far. So between the beginning and our 3.5 seconds ones, I do want some movement to happen there. So I'm going to click at 3.5 seconds on that keyframe, and I am just going to use my little warp bars here, and I'm just going to move it to the right a little bit. So I kind of moved the left side into the right, and then the right side to the right a little bit as well. I'm kind of making it a little skinnier as I go, so I'm just clicking on the lines, not the dots. The dots like do really weird stuff like that. We don't want that. So I'm just clicking on the lines. Okay, then let's go every second after that. So let's do 4.5 seconds on that same warp line, add a new keyframe. Now let's go to the left. So again, I'll use the lines. We'll move it to the left. So move the left side to the left, move the right side to the left. Then at 5.5 seconds, add another one, and now we'll go back to the right. So move the right side to the right, the left side to the right. Then at 6.5 seconds, add another one, even though we're almost done here. And we'll go back to the left a little bit. So again, move our left side to the left, our right side to the left, just so it kind of moves the entire time. Then after that, it's gone. So let's go ahead and play from the beginning again. And now you should see the movement in between. So we want it to be pretty like dramatic, I guess. You don't want it to be so subtle that you can't see it move. So if you need to go back in and change any of them, again, we went to the right, then the left, then the right, then the left. So if you need to, again, so at 3.5 seconds, if you need to move it further to the right, do so. 4.5, if you need to move it further to the left, do so. We want it to be, again, pretty kind of dramatic-ish. Now we need to take care of this little bit at the bottom that sticks out at the end here. We're just going to go to the drawing layer here with our brown drawing on it. Add a new track above it. Set our playhead to the beginning. Click the draw button. Grab our background color, so hold on the background. Same monoline brush at 100, so then maybe like a third of the way up from left to right. Just draw all the way across there, going outside the stage on both ends, and then fill in below it. And now when you drag through, you should see that nothing falls through the bottom. It falls outside the stage, but inside the stage, there's nothing showing. So that's kind of what we want. You can't have your line too high to where you're cutting off the stuff up here, but just right through the mug there. Okay, that's looking great so far. So now we need to add some marshmallows, because otherwise, why would there be marshmallows in our hot chocolate? So let's go ahead and find our marshmallow layer, our single marshmallow. It should be pretty close to the top. Mine is layer 12 here, so there's my little floating marshmallow there. We're going to have 2 in front, and then we're going to have a bunch that fall inside that are going to need to be moved below our mug. I'm going to start at the beginning here. I'm going to drag this into like maybe a little less than 1 second, somewhere in there. So that's where it's going to start. Okay, we're just going to select it and move it to the top right of the canvas. That's where we're going to start. So right kind of on the right side of my mug, outside the canvas up there. Okay, so then we are going to start at the beginning of this area, which is again at like, a little less than 1 second. We're going to tap our movie button, move, move and scale. We're going to go a little further down the line here to maybe 3 seconds. And then at 3 seconds, we'll tap to make another keyframe. We'll drag it down to this bottom right corner, right where our line is. I'm going to tap one of the corners so that I can rotate it. And I'm going to rotate it and then again, kind of place it here so it's just laying flat on the line. Okay, hold on this move and scale, click set all easings to ease in so that it falls slowly. But now you'll see from the beginning, if we play it, our marshmallow falls in and lands on our line there. Okay, so that's our first marshmallow. We're going to hold on this and click copy, add a new track. We'll just hold on this track and click paste. Okay, I'm going to I'm going to hold on it, drag it down till the ending ends at 10 seconds again. Okay, we're just going to do the same thing, maybe a little bit later and a little bit different. So I am going to hold on the move and scale and click delete move and scale. I am going to move my marshmallow over to the left side a little bit. I'm going to drag the beginning in a little bit further, so maybe to like 1.5 seconds. At the beginning there, I'll click my movie button, move, move and scale. So it's going to start there. And then let's say that since this one ended at 3 seconds, I'll have this one end at like 3.5 to 4 seconds. Maybe 4. We'll tap to make another keyframe somewhere around there. Drag our marshmallow down. Let's kind of rotate it as we go. I'm going to rotate it the other way. So this one has like my main part on the right side. I'm going to have this one have my main part on the left side. So like where my main little darker oval is drawn. And I might have it be like a little angled. So it's kind of sitting a little higher up and not so flat, kind of like this. I'm going to have it a little further away. So maybe somewhere like that. Okay. Then let's go from the beginning, play again. So one falls in, the other falls in, like so. Now we need a bunch of marshmallows to fall inside our cup. So we are going to, again, just hold on this and click copy. We're going to go a little further down here, right where our main marshmallow layer is, add a new track above that. So this is where we'll add our other marshmallows falling. Let's just hold on this track and click paste. Okay, and it pasted a very small amount of it, but that's okay. I'm going to shorten this anyway to just be like a couple seconds long. So let's see, I start at 1, I end at like 3. We'll hold on it and click delete, move, and scale so we can kind of reset that. Okay, so at the beginning here, I am going to kind of just move it towards the middle, right where my mug is. I'm going to do a similar thing at the very beginning. I'm going to click the movie button, click move, move, and scale. It's going to start at the top there. And then by this end point here at about 3.5 seconds, tap to make another one. And it's going to just end kind of in the mug. So I'm just going to move it to like right in the mug here. I'm going to tap a corner, rotate it a little bit just in any direction so that it rotates a little as it falls. Hold on my move and scale, click set all easings to ease in. And now let's kind of see how that goes. So that one falls in a little too early. I'm going to hold the whole thing and just move it down a little bit. So it's going to maybe start around 2 seconds. So it starts a little later, kind of falls in with our hot cocoa. I think I want it to fall a little faster. I'm going to move my last keyframe up just a little bit, kind of drag the rest of this with it. Okay, again, so now we're starting at 2, we're ending at like 3.5 to 4, somewhere in there. So let's kind of see how that looks. Just a little faster, it falls right into my mug. And it kind of rotates as it goes. So that's kind of what we want. Okay, I'm going to hold on this, click copy, make sure this track is selected, and then click add a new track so it adds it right above it. I'm going to hold on the track and click paste, and now we have another marshmallow. Okay, I might start it just a little bit later, so I just dragged it down just a little bit so it starts at like 2.25 seconds. I'm going to tap my first keyframe. I'm going to move it to the right a little bit. I'm going to tap my last keyframe. I'm going to move it to the right a little bit as well inside the marshmallow. I'm going to tap a corner and I'm going to rotate it like a good ways to the left so that it rotates a different direction. Let's start right before that and see how those both look now. So now we should have two kind of falling in together. So they're at like slightly different places and they rotate a little differently. Okay. Make sure this track is selected, add a new track above it, hold and click paste, and it pastes our original one, but again, we'll maybe start this one a little earlier than our last one. Tap my first one, we'll move it to the left a little bit. Tap my last one, we'll move it to the left a little bit. Tap my rotation and just kind of rotate it again a little differently and go. So now we have 3 marshmallows kind of falling in together. So they're just barely off on timing. So we're not having them be very far apart. They're all kind of falling together. Let's go ahead and do this maybe 2 more times. So we have like 5 total falling in. So let's make sure this track is selected. Add a new track above it. Hold on it and click paste. Hold on it and click paste. If nothing pastes like mine didn't, I'm just going to copy my last one again, hold on it and click paste again. Okay, again, I'll have it start like a teeny bit later than my other one. I'll tap my first keyframe, maybe move it a little closer to the center. Tap my last keyframe, maybe move it a little closer to the center. Tap a button and rotate it a little further to the left and see how that looks. So now we have 4 of them. Okay, again, make sure our top track of our marshmallows is selected, add a new track above it, hold on it and click paste. Okay, I'll move it up just a teeny bit. Click my first keyframe, move it to the right a little bit. Tap my last keyframe, move it to the right a little bit. Again, a different rotation. I rotated it probably almost like 180 degrees so it falls different. So that is all we do. So we have 5 marshmallows falling into our mug. And then we end up with 7 of them at the top, but that's okay. Maybe there were a couple in it already. So I just feel like 5 is plenty to have falling, plus our 2 that fall in front. Okay, so make sure you like the way that looks. You can change the rotation, you can change the placement, you can stagger their start times, but they all start almost at the same time. They're just barely off from each other. And again, they last about 2 seconds, 1.5 seconds maybe, between start and finish. Okay, so then that is it for the marshmallows. That's kind of a lot. So that's probably like one of the harder, more time-consuming things to do. So once that's done, feel pretty good. We have a few more things. Let's do our candy cane next. So our candy cane, we want to kind of come in right at the end after our marshmallows are done. It's just going to kind of plop right in there. So I'm going to find my candy cane layer. Let's go ahead and turn it on. Let's just, as it's selected, tap on it and drag it to the top of our screen right above where it was, like so, outside of our stage. Okay. I'm going to click my move and scale button, click move, move and scale. So it set one at the beginning automatically, and then let's set one. Let's have it start coming in kind of like as our last drops are going out, maybe around 7 seconds. So I'm going to set a keyframe at 7 seconds, so I'll delete this one that automatically popped up. At 7 seconds, tap to create a new one. Then at let's do 8.5 seconds, that's how long it'll take to come in. So let's tap to add a keyframe there. Let's go ahead and drag it down into our mug where we want it. So right here above my right handle. So let's just start kind of midway and see how that looks. So our hot cocoa's falling, then our candy cane just falls right in. Okay, we're going to hold on this one, and this time we're going to set the easings to in and out. So let's see how that looks. So it kind of goes faster and then slower. That looks nice. I feel like that it kind of slows down at the end there. Okay, we're going to have it rotate a little bit too. So at this 7 seconds frame, the first one, we want it to end the way it ends like this, but let's start it at a different rotation. So at the 7 second keyframe, tap that one, tap a corner of it and rotate it till it's like maybe to the left a little bit. So it's not quite straight up and down, but a little bit the other way. Let's see how that looks. So it kind of starts and then it kind of falls in at an angle. I like that. Okay, so then that's it for our candy cane. Let's go ahead and do our greenery at the top now. So the greenery at the top, we're going to have one come in from the left and one come in from the right. Let's go ahead and start with our main greenery layer, turn that one on. Similarly, we're going to have it come in at the end. So let's set our playhead to the beginning, tap the movie button, move, move, and scale. At the very end, we obviously want it to be all the way in, maybe by 9, and let's see, our candy cane lands at like 9 or 8.5. Let's have this land at 9. So at 9 seconds, tap to add a keyframe there. This is exactly where we want it. At the beginning, we want it to start to the left side. So tap our keyframe at the beginning, drag it straight to the left until the outer edge hits outside the canvas there. Try to keep it pretty lined up, but what we're going to do is we're going to tap away from it, tap back into our first one. We're going to set translate Y to 0. And then that should set it to exactly the same spot that we wanted. So translate X is whatever you dragged it to horizontally. Translate Y is up and down. We don't want it to move up and down at all. So we want our translate Y to be 0. So let's hold on this and let's do set all easings. Let's ease it in, but we don't want it to start coming in from the beginning. So if we were to play it from the beginning, I mean, it's just going to slowly start as everything starts, and then it looks kind of silly. So we don't want that to happen. We want it to stay to the left for the most part. So we're going to set this first keyframe. We're going to just drag it on down to like, let's do 7.5 seconds, somewhere in there. Okay, so now nothing happens at the beginning until we get to like 7 seconds, and then it starts coming in like so. So it comes in pretty quick. That's fine though. You can mess around with the easings though. Let's like maybe do ease out. So maybe it starts faster and then goes slower to kind of come in slowly. Let's do ease in and out and see how that looks. Okay, I always like ease in and out. So let's set it to ease in and out there so that when it starts, it just kind of gradually comes in nicely. We're going to do the same thing with the white berries, but we're going to have them come from the other side. So find our berries layer, turn it on. We're going to start at the beginning, tap our movie button, move, move, and scale. So same thing at 9 seconds, we want them to be in. So go down to 9 seconds and tap any keyframe there, just as our picture is now. So that's where they're going to be. Let's again tap our beginning keyframe. We're going to drag it straight to the right this time until we're just outside the canvas a little bit. Tap away from it, tap back into it, and set translate Y to 0. So it's exactly at the point at the top that it needs to be. And then again, we're just going to drag our keyframe down. So the reason that we do this is so that it's moved off the screen already, because if we started at like, 7.5 seconds and made a keyframe there and moved it to the left, it would start at the beginning in the middle. Then it would move to the right, then it would move back into the left. So we started at the beginning just so that that's where it starts, but then we don't want our movement to start till 7 seconds or 7.5 seconds. So I'm going to drag it down to 7.5 seconds. It snapped to where my greenery one was. Let's hold it and click set all easings to ease in and out and play it where they come in together. That is it for our animation. If you like it like this, if you want to, we're going to try to add some steam. I have not done this yet, so I'm doing this on the fly as we do it. We're going to add it at the top, above our mug, above all of our like marshmallows, right under our black line maybe. So let's find our top like marshmallow layer that we have right underneath our black line. Add a new track above it. Okay, let's see. The hot cocoa is coming in right here. Maybe we want it to start steaming like right after that. So maybe about like 7 seconds. Let's go ahead and be on that track at 7 seconds. Click our draw button. Let's just grab a bright white color. So let's just grab like our marshmallow color or our background color if your background color is white, or just, go to your color selector and grab a bright white color. Let's grab the soft airbrush under the airbrushing category, the smaller one here. So not the big soft brush at the top, but the soft airbrush towards the bottom. Let's set our opacity at like 50 for the brush, and then let's set the size to maybe like 30 to 40%. See how that goes. So I'm going to zoom in on the top of the mug here. I'm going to just kind of create some little wispy steam lines. So there's one. I'll maybe draw a couple off of that. on like the sides, like so. So nothing too crazy, just something like that. Okay, so I don't want it to cover up my candy cane and I don't want it to cover up my greenery. So as I go down the line here, just kind of make sure that's looking good. It can go behind my candy cane. That one's fine. I don't mind that one so much. Let's go ahead and do this now. So we don't just want it to pop in, obviously. Let's go ahead and set it or play ahead to the beginning here at 7 seconds. Tap the movie button, click filter this time, and click opacity. We're going to start at 0, so drag this down to 0. Let's go just a little bit in here to maybe like 7.5 seconds. Tap it again to create a new keyframe. Set it to 100. And then after that, we'll maybe just fade in and out a little bit. So it fades in the beginning from 0 to 100. Then let's go a little further down to like, 8 seconds. Tap it again. And then let's drag it down to like maybe 50. Tap to like, I don't know, 9 seconds, 100. And then at the end here at 10, we'll just have it like fading out again to like 50. Okay, and let's see how that looks. Okay, it looks okay. Let's hold on it and set all easings to linear. And then let's see how that looks with linear. Okay, and I think that looks pretty good for the most part. The other thing we could do is like frame by frame animation where we have the steam coming up, but for like even 2 seconds, that's like 48 frames that we'd have to draw, which would go by pretty fast because it'd be pretty simple. But I think this looks good enough. I think it just gets a little too bright too quickly, so I'm just going to kind of remove some of these a little bit. So I might drag my third one on the line here down a little bit. So hold it, drag it down. But especially my second one, I want to drag down quite a bit. So when it goes 0 to 100, that maybe will take like a whole second. So from 7 to 8 seconds, then yeah, I'm just going to kind of try to space these last ones out more evenly like this. So then I'm at like 8.75, then like 9.25 or so until we get to the end. So let's see how that looks. So it's just kind of fades in a little bit more nicely. Okay, I also think 100 is maybe too high, so I'm going to tap each one that's at 100, and we'll maybe do like 70. And then for the 50% ones, we'll tap those and maybe do like 30, so the whole thing's lighter. So again, 70 and 30. Okay, I think that looks a little bit better. So, that being said, that is it for our animation. Let's tap on it with 4 fingers and see it go. So this is why we did the loop. So we'll start at the beginning and we'll just play it and it'll keep on playing all the way through. But there we go, our hot cocoa, then our marshmallows, the steam, the candy canes, the stuff at the top. So that is so fun. I love the way that looks. I love all the marshmallows falling in. That's my favorite part. And when they rise to the top, I love that too. So that is it for our animation today. So I hope you had fun. I hope that you liked the way that yours turned out. And I hope that you maybe learned something new about Procreate Dreams. If you did, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and let me know in the comments what you thought of it or anything you might want to see in the future or any tips that you've learned about Procreate Dreams since it's still kind of new to all of us. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see any more tutorials from me in the future. And if you want to, again, check out my Patreon, it is linked in the description below if you want access to any extra exclusive tutorials that I post over there. If you would like to share your animation on Instagram, I would love to see it, so go ahead and post it there and then tag me so that I can check it out. And while you're there, go ahead and give me a follow so you can see what I'm working on next. Thanks for watching!